Hi everybody, how are we doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. And tonight I'm just going to do some following the corruption. I have another story, but I have to clear my phone. I'm running out of storage, so I'm going to keep it short tonight. And I'll be back with that story tomorrow, which is kind of upsetting because I've had it for like a day or so. I'm still working on some other stories, but again, I've been having problems with my AC at home, and I've been tied up with that and another issue that I'm dealing with. So I've been kind of struggling with time to do these things. So again, I apologize. We're going to just stick to this. And hopefully, again, these stories open your eyes to what's going on behind the scenes. These are why I bring these cases to you, is to open your eyes to the reality of what is going on in our government. And the corruption is so deep. And if we, again, don't make changes, it's not going to be a very good government. Well, it's already not a good government for us, but it's going to be a lot worse. And it's going to keep getting worse until we have no say-so. We have no rights. Our belongings do not belong to us. And a lot of people don't want to come to the reality because they just don't know how to handle a situation like that. But the fact is there's a lot of things in life that we don't know how to handle right off the bat. But it has to be done. And once we start doing it, we're okay. So we will be okay, people. But we have to do it. And we have to unite and stick together and go through with it. Because again, if not, our future is very dark. And so is the future we leave for our children, our children's children, and so on. So we really have to start taking our stand. And it's now or never. I mean, the longer you wait, basically, the worse it gets and the harder it's going to get, because more of our rights will have been taken, which makes them feel more powerful. Go back and watch my video, The Aftermath, because it's not just about the aftermath. It's about what's to come. And to me, it's a very good video. Again, it was a night I was stumbling with my eyes, but it's still a very good video with a lot of good information. So please go back and check that out, especially if you haven't seen it. It's very important that you do see it. Okay, it's getting dark, so I want to get through this. And I have some things I have to do. So here's your following the corruption for tonight. And I do have an update on a major case. So, again, let's get started. All right. So, of course, you have to say, an indictment only contains allegations. The defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. And I'm only reporting on the charges and the outcomes, and if anything else. I don't really get involved with anything else, I should say. And it's not for reasons. It's not for legal reasons, sorry. It's just to inform you of what is going on. So when I read this, it's just to inform you. It's not to get into any legal information or on the case. I'm just letting you know what is going on, because a lot of people don't know about this stuff. It doesn't go on the news. It's not reported. It's basically, if you want to find out what's going on, you need to dig it up and find out for yourself. So that's what I'm doing for all of you. I'm digging it up and I'm finding it for you guys, to give you guys the information nobody else is going to give you. Okay. Let's start with December 2nd, 2020 in Little Rock, Arkansas. Former Craighead County clerk, federally indicted. Defendant allegedly took more than $1.4 million in county funds. A federal grand jury has indicted former Craighead, what a name, County, what a name, Craighead County Clerk Jacob Cade. Sorry about I can't even read my own writing sometimes. Jacob Cade Holliday for allegedly taking more than what is wrong with me? $1.4 million in county money for his personal use. Excuse me, I think this is what's wrong. Okay. A federal grand jury has indicted former Craighead County Clerk Jacob Cade Holliday for allegedly taking more than $1.4 million in county money for his own personal use. Again, this is more than. It's not 104 or 0.4. It's more than $100.4 million. Again, this is where our money is going. And then the government can't tell us why we're bankrupt, why our country is in distress, where the money is. It's because these government people are taking it. Okay? The indictment alleges that Holliday, as the elected county clerk in Craighead County, served as an official bookkeeper of county government, and it says it that way, of county government. In that capacity, Holliday was tasked with keeping an accurate account of all financial transactions within the county. The funds Holliday controlled included county payroll, tax obligations, as well as employment, retirement, and contributions. Also, according to the indictment, Holliday transferred money from the Craighead County Clerk banking account to his own personal and business accounts. He then allegedly obtained cashier's checks in approximately the same amounts and further converted them to his own use. Holliday is charged with 11 counts of wire fraud, one for each of the 11 transactions he made during the time alleged in the indictment. Holliday appeared before the judge on December 17th, 2020. We will see if we get an update. The max penalty for wire fraud is not more than 20 years in prison, is a fine not more than $250,000, and not more than 3 years of supervised release. Sorry, that was written in the tiny little corner. I was running out of room. Okay, so December 2nd. Okay, this is the follow-up on that huge case I did. Oh my God. I'm looking like the monster as my light goes. Oh well, I'll have to look like the monster. This was the follow-up on that major case I did where they framed a family member for the corruption that the county employees were doing. I believe it was a chief of police and a prosecutor. I just went over this case the other night again with the police officers that finally got their time. And I'm thinking they not only updated this because of the additional people that were charged and the penalties. Sorry, I am so tongue-tied tonight. Sorry, penalties and punishments that they received. But I think because when I went back to look to make sure it was the same case, because I was pretty sure, but I seen a couple differences in it. I realized that they probably also did it because there was some errors. Now, they weren't major errors. They were just like, it wasn't in California. It was in Hawaii, but it was under California. And when I started reading, I was kind of confused because it then was saying Honolulu. But some states have that in their, as a city or county, they could have Honolulu County and it still be in Florida or California or whatever. So it's like, well, maybe there is, I don't know much about California. Maybe there is a Honolulu in California. But it was little things, not in the major details of the charges or the indictment or the pleas. All that is the same. But also it was very confusing on who these two people were. And I thought they might be, because I kept saying relatives. So I was thinking maybe they're sisters. Maybe they're, they were talking to brother that they had helped out of a criminal situation. But it was actually a husband and wife. So I'm going to clarify all those things today. And then maybe go over, I think in here, some of the charges again. Okay. I wrote, they must have put the wrong information in on the last report. In the beginning, it said California, and some other information was wrong or misprinted. But here is the update. And then I just explained it was small things and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to skip that. This was the big case I did, that I just did a follow-up on, and I just went over that with the 2 police officers involved. In a staggering conspiracy, former police chief and prosecutor and 2 police officers sentenced for framing an innocent man with a crime. And this is also where I said, if you don't believe it happens, like these people want to say they don't believe that Avery's were set up, here's your sign. Okay, Honolulu, Hawaii, former Honolulu police chief, and I think this was supposed to be Lewis instead of Lois, but again, some names, maybe it is for me on Lois, but I think they meant to put Lewis in. I think it was Lois in the last one. That's why I thought they might be sisters. And again, we're going to try to say this last name. Kealoha, and his wife, former Honolulu prosecutor Catherine Kealoha, were sentenced in federal court to 84 months and 156 months in prison, respectively, for a range of criminal conduct, including framing their relative with a crime to conceal their own fraud. Additionally, the Kealoha's co-conspirator, former Honolulu police officer Derek Wayne Han and Min Hung Bobby Nugent, received 42 months and 54 months, respectively, for their involvement in the conspiracy. Okay, this is a side note. I just wanted to make sure I didn't go over this already. I'm just going back over the parts I want to clarify. To clarify. Go to the one with the Avery in the title to see the whole story. Because I changed it so you could find it to, I believe, info basically proves Avery case it can happen. So whatever title I have the Avery in, that's the title that gives you this whole story in case you're interested in going back and seeing the whole story. Because there was so much, and I think that's what I wrote here. There's so much, and I mean so much, that these 2 people did. They didn't just set up a relative, okay? they took money from, I think it was the grandma, maybe the grandma's brother. They stole her house. They went after their children's inheritance and money. They opened up credit cards in all these people's names. They took out loans in all these. I mean, they really committed so much fraud, conspiracy, crimes in general. They went after everybody they could to rob them blind. And all in benefit for themselves. Like, they didn't make enough money as a chief police and a prosecutor. They had to go take out the whole family and break everybody and put them in debt. And try to have them jailed. So again, if you don't believe that this kind of stuff is done, here is your story to prove it. And again, you people who don't want to believe that they do this to people and thought that the Averys were guilty, you're wrong. Here it is. And go back and see how wicked these two people really were. And tried to send a completely innocent man to jail to cover up their crimes. Because he was speaking out about them stealing his money and the grandma's house and her money. And they thought they were going to shut him up by putting him in prison. What a way to... Oh, some people are just crazy. And these are our representatives. These are our government employees. These are the people who want to put you in jail when they belong there for the rest of their lives, in my opinion. Okay. And now we'll go on to the next one because, again, I've ranted and raved on that case 3 different times. Go back and watch them, please. Former Hilo, I believe is how you say it, correctional officer pleads guilty for assaulting an inmate and conspiring with other officers to cover it up. Honestly, how often do we hear about this? And no matter what, this is never okay, especially when who they choose to do it to are either young men, young women, just probably in there because they did something stupid or made a mistake in their life. But it's never okay. But especially when it's done to these young kids. Okay? Just like the kid they tasered until his skin looked like raw hamburger meat. Okay? It's unacceptable. And I'm going to read and then I'm going to go off. Okay. And I said, young girls, it's not okay, like I said, no matter what or who. But again, it's usually from what I have seen, young people who really are not bad, just lost or made a mistake. These are not hardened criminals. Like I said, the taser boy that they tased the heck out of, he was literally suicidal and thought that he just wanted life over. He was going through a lot of depression. He ended up making a mistake. And instead of helping, they tortured this boy. They tortured him. For no reason. For no reason. It's all power trips. These are not people who should be in charge of protecting people when they're prone to abuse and bullying, and even further, where there was a story I read in one of my last couple of videos where they caused the person to no longer walk this planet. Okay? It's not okay. These people have to be removed and taken out of the system. A former correction officer at the Hawaii Community Correctional Center pled guilty to 3 felony offenses for assaulting an inmate for failure to protect the inmate from being assaulted by three other correctional officers besides him, and for conspiring with those officers to cover it up. Officers involved: The one who we're speaking about today is Jordan D. Matos, 29. They did not give the ages of the other ones, but they did give the names. Jason Tangloka, Jonathan Tam, and Craig Pinkney. The other three pled not guilty. Are you kidding me? They pled not guilty and are scheduled to be on trial March 15th of 2021. Now, when I read this, you're going to see there's no reason those freaking monsters should be pleading not guilty, except they know, and their lawyers know, they're part of the Brotherhood, and they'll probably get a slap on the wrist, and that's why they're doing this. Jordan D. Matos admitted during his plea hearing that he and the fellow correctional officers pinned an inmate face down on the ground and then punched, kneed, and kicked the inmate in the face, head, and dozens of times. D. Matos acknowledged that during the assault, the inmate was not resisting, and the officers had no legitimate reason to use force against him. As a direct result of the assault, the inmate suffered a broken jaw, a broken nose, a broken eye socket. D. Matos explained that he and the other officers conspired afterwards to cover up the assault by engaging in varieties of obstruction acts, including devising a false cover story to explain and justify their use of excessive force, documenting the false cover story in official reports, and repeating the false cover story during the ensuing investigation and disciplinary proceedings arising out of the incident. Are you freaking kidding me? These people are the real monsters and criminals. It's so gross and disgusting that they could do these types of things to another human being. These are the types of people who get these jobs to abuse their powers, and it makes them feel inferior and powerful. It's sick. These types of people should never work in these types of positions or be in charge of another person or people's. Sad that many are allowed. I think I wrote that or skipped it. Sad that many are allowed to be, and most get to keep their positions after violating others. They're usually covered up, made to go away, not enforced, and violating others, and are protected so they can stay in their positions, or just move to a new precinct or department, or slapped on the wrist and then resigned and then reassigned. They should be fired, career over, period, once an incident happens. The first incident. And then charged to the fullest extent of the law. No slap on the wrists. Because none of us get those. Let's look into real. And then again, I gave myself a note to talk about people in these positions. They do this and they get away with it. They get a slap on the wrist. They get reassigned. It's never brought up for their new hire at their new department. The old department helps cover it up, does not bring it to light. And then they go to the new department and they do it to somebody else. and another victim is made. This has got to stop, and you will see it. If you go back in my videos, I have many videos that cover that and proof of that. I actually tried to put another one out, but I'm trying to find the story with a blockage of being able to put it out there. Let's put it that way. So there is another story, just like the ones that I have on other videos, that the cop did bad things, was reassigned to another department. They didn't know about it, and he ended up seriously injuring somebody else because steps were never taken to stop him from abusing his power and driving like an idiot and not having any reprimands or punishments for his bad behavior, bad ways of acting, bad ways of carrying himself. He was above the law. He was above his job. He was above all of us. And they do nothing about it because they stick to that brotherhood of criminal corruption and public corruption. That's not what police officers are for. And they are not supposed to be basically turn themselves into a legal gang. And here you see the gang violence as they would like to keep it illegal, not illegal, illegal gang violence. So it's okay for them to go out there and arrest people for being in gangs and doing the same thing they do, but they've made their own legal gang that commits the same kind of crimes. How does that make sense to any of you? And you allow it, but then when it happens to one of your family members or you, then you want to complain and throw a hissy fit. But guess what? Can't do anything. Because people just like those people don't want to do anything until it happens to them. And so they keep their head turned when it's happening to everybody else. It shouldn't take that. It should be handled now so that it never happens to any of our family members, our children, our brothers and sisters, our aunts and uncles, our grandparents. I got to put that video out too. They will taser, shoot, even from little children, which is in one of my videos, to grandparents. There is no age discrimination on who they attack, assault, beat up, etc. So they have to be stopped. The stealing of our money, the bullying, the threatening, the abusing their power and their positions, all of it. I don't even have to go over all of it. You guys know. All of it has got to be stopped. And if you think anybody in those government positions are going to stand up and help you do it, or stand up in their position and stop it from happening within their own groups, you're out of your mind. The only people who will and who can stop it is us, the citizens. Stop thinking you're beneath them. You're not. You are their bosses. You are the ones in charge. And you are allowing your employees to attack your own people and your own families. It's time to stop this. It's time for a new day, a better day, and a better way. And that takes us all. So subscribe, join the talk, join us, and let's make a difference. And bring whoever you can, share the videos, and let's get to making some changes. Let's not just talk about it. Let's just not watch videos. Let's make the changes that need to be made very desperately before you or your family become a victim. And who are you going to turn to? The people who victimize you? I don't think that's going to do any good or help you. So it's time again, I will say, for us to unite, stand together, and make changes. And I will leave you with that. I love you guys. I care. I want to make a difference with you. I want to help make a better change for us and our families and our friends, our loved ones, however you want to say it, take it, put it. We have to make these changes. I am so tired of looking like a monster on here, and I just, half my face looks right, the other half got the shadows. I love you guys. I will see you on my next video, and I'm hoping I will see more of you soon. I have got, a little bit of subscribers here and there, but I want to see more of you interested in making a change in our country and in our lives. Enough is enough with the brutality and the getting away with destroying our government, our city, our way of living, our happiness, trying to steal our properties, trying to be above the law mainly, and trying to make us feel like we are nobody and we have no rights. Well, we do. And we are somebody. And we have a right to go after these people and make a difference. And for that, I say, let's do it. All right, guys. I love you. Have a good night. And I will see you on my next video. Okay, let's do it.